Thanks for watching the Council in Brief. I'm Susan Kennedy. We're here with the news of the Montgomery County Council for this third week in September. And we begin this week with a vote on a somewhat controversial measure that would protect displaced service workers. The bill would require successor contractors to retain certain workers for 90 days after taking over the contract. Supporters of the bill say it protects those lower wage earners from unemployment.
What this bill does essentially is following the District of Columbia, which has had this bill on the books for 18 years. And it essentially says that if a contractor decides to fire a group of workers, in order for them to do that, they have to give the workers a 90-day notice of intent to get rid of them. And so we thought this was just a very modest approach to putting a base underneath the most vulnerable workers in our community. These are workers that are just above the minimum wage, who have to work 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And so we were very happy to be able to pass this legislation today.
Displaced workers, it was a 5-4 vote. You voted against it. Tell us why.
Well, I personally never felt that the case had been made that there was a problem in Montgomery County for which there needed to be a government solution. I do believe that government has a very active role to play, but in solving real problems. And I just wasn't convinced, based on the evidence before us, that there were those kinds of problems that justified the government taking this step.
In other news, approval of a bill that would require the county executive to propose and update an economic development plan subject to approval by the county council. Council members say this new law will help the county develop a strategic plan for economic development and follow it.
What I hope we'll see is a coherent plan that actually has accountability built into it, so that we have metrics, so that we can say to our community, here's our plan, here's how our economic development fund is going to be used to advance that plan, and at the end of the day, here's how we did, and here's where we need to get better. We haven't had that yet, and our economic development is too important to the future of Montgomery County and growing our tax base, and I feel like this makes it a little stronger and a little easier to get there.
We have a strategic plan right now. I think what this bill does, it brings the council into it more completely than what we had previously. And we should have some better analytical tools as we go forward. I mean, what it says here is this council is in the game, supporting economic development and wants to be an active player.
Toxic sediment in 2 county stormwater lakes has prompted council members to pass a bill that bans the use of coal tar driveway sealants. The measure is the work of Councilmember Craig Rice. He says toxins in the sediment of Lake Whetstone and Gunners Lake are most likely the result of runoff from pavement sealed with coal tar products.
While True Value and Home Depot and Lowe's have already said, look, these are things that we don't want to have on our shelves, it's important for us as a county to say, look, this is something that we don't want to have on our streets as well, or in our neighborhoods.
Planners have completed their work on the 2012 subdivision staging policy, and it's now in the hands of the County Council for its review. The policy will ensure that transportation, school capacity, and other infrastructure keeps pace with growth. Nancy Florine chairs the Council's Planning, Housing, and Economic Development Committee, and she told us what the Council will be looking for in this proposal.
I want something that's understandable, that moves us to a credible place where the impacts of new development are on a community and on its future are properly measured, and some contribution to the community betterment is achieved through all this. We've been doing this now, since the mid-'80s. We continue to fine-tune it. I'd say this is a continued tune-up of our growth policy.
Well, that does it for this edition of the Council in Brief. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kennedy. Thanks for watching.